Welcome to episode 508 of This Week in League. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jay.
And I'm Glenn.
How you going, fellas?
Fantastic.
Good.
Do you have any news? Did you have an eventful weekend by any chance, stepdad?
Very fucking eventful weekend.
I know Glenny did. I mean, Glenny got raped in the arse on Saturday night, but...
I also...
But how about you?
I also saw a gaping orifice.
Well, that's one way to lead into it.
No, the Mrs. Stepdad gave birth to a healthy, beautiful baby boy at about 1 a.m. on 1st of April. So
Yours?
Well, you know. Judging by the size of his genitalia, he's fully grown.
So no.
So it's Glenny's. Is that what you said?
Definitely not.
Yes, no, everything's wonderful. She was magnificent through it all, and you know, with all of the challenges and close calls and all of that stuff, you know, we just consider ourselves incredibly lucky. Babies are that sort of thing where, you know, the universe doesn't give anyone an explanation, and sometimes there's no rhyme or reason for anything. But neither of us are religious, but we sort of thanked anything we could think of when everything was over and done with, and he was out. So yes, very, very happy, and he's super chill, getting on the titties like he's made for it, living that.
So he's yours after
Yeah.
all. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah, he's living that life where he's eating and pooping and sleeping and pressing repeat.
Yep.
So
Yep. The easy days.
that you get.
And it's been a while. It's been a while since you've had to worry about any of this shit.
I know, hey.
And fuck, you're yawning at the end of doing episodes anyway.
Man,
The rest of the season, you're going to be worse.
But last night was the first night we had him at home.
Mm-hmm.
So it was his second night in the world. And I've woken up this morning and I'm like, oh, that's tougher than it was. And he wasn't bad last night. He was, just up the usual amount.
It's just the time, there's just the increments of time that you have to be up for, yeah.
Yeah, so I reckon in total, where I'd normally get 8 hours sleep, I might have gotten 7 hours and 20 minutes. But this morning...
Interrupted in 3 hour intervals.
But this morning I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm feeling this.
That's what that was. That's what that feels like again. Yes, it's been a little while.
Yeah, so yes.
And that is why you get all the fun stuff, and babies are amazing. And that's the stuff now you go, that's the part you forget.
Yeah, exactly.
You remember all the good fuzzy stuff, and
So-
and you forget the constant wake ups. But that's awesome.
Yeah, man, all good.
Glenny, we'll be on to you. We'll get to the state of your anus later. Is there anything else you would like to open with, or just to jump straight into the games?
Let's go.
Into it.
So we can put stepdad to bed
Well, look,
before
I'll
he
tell
has to do
you,
his next milk run.
it will be an express episode. I'm just going to sit back and just do the socials because I didn't see any football of any consequence over the weekend. So I might ask you some questions.
Yeah, oh, great.
Don't fucking do that.
There's going to be an exam. Well, let's just blast through the scores. Thursday night, the Roosters 28 defeated the Eels 20 at Allianz Stadium. The Roosters 28 came through tries to Drew Hutchison, Daniel Tupou, Jackson Polo, and a double to Luke Keary. Walker, 3 conversions and a penalty goal. The Eels 20 tries to Simonson, Gutherson, and Sivo. Moses, 3 conversions and a penalty goal. Back down into the gutter.
Where they fucking belong. Couple of Noffa time tries for Para shouldn't really overshadow how
those last two tries were converted as well. So I thought when they got to that 28-8, I thought that was actually representative of the way that the game had gone, and
exactly.
East had finally scored enough points to kind of illustrate the level of dominance they had in the game, and then they let in these 2 fucking junk time tries at the end to make it another one of these Parramatta ones that they can sort of, rationalise themselves and say, oh, it was close. It was close. It's another one of these games where we only lost by around 1 score.
Yeah.
Right.
No, look, I was impressed with the Roosters, and they weren't the only side this weekend to show that they're getting close to their final form, so to speak. But guys like Keary, that's his best game of the season so far. They had to do a large part of it without Teddy, who got HIA'd. And
he got KIA'd. Like, I mean, that was in 2023 with the penalties associated and all that sort of stuff. That's pretty bad. It was almost as bad as it gets.
Yeah.
I mean, like, sort of coming back across the grain, the opposite
wasn't
way
far
that he was running.
Off, I reckon.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, because the tackler was coming hard in the direction that Teddy was stepping into. And, it was like shoulder to the face. Direct like forceful, direct. Like, it's pretty much as bad as we've seen this year, I think.
Yeah, I think, Sam Walker as well. And I think part of that is because Keary looked like he stepped it up a gear, and I think Walker is flourishing as a result of that. It's probably freeing him up a little bit and giving him a little bit more space and time for his decisions. And let's not forget Joey Manu's still to come back, and they led the way up front.
How long? I mean, he's kind of off contract, and they obviously plan to. They initially, I guess, planned to move on from him next year. When they bought Spencer Leniu and stuff to come in.
Yep.
But I mean, like at the moment, I mean, at his age, and you can't say, he's playing so amazing now. Next year, he's going to also be amazing. No, but. Fuck, I mean, he's like still, at the peak of his powers.
I think that comes down to Robbo and just knowing what he's got in the guy and being able to wring his neck, so to speak, to get every last ounce of benefit that you can out of him for where he's at this stage of his career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like a dumb move, though, and I'm only assuming that he played this game much like the one he played a couple of weeks ago where it was him and Cheese that just gave them any sort of direction. It's going that, okay, well, he was a representative prop, and now he might be able to do that for 30 minutes a game. Maybe. Like, maybe I can get 25 great minutes out of this guy, and just knowing when to use him, as opposed to, and that's, and I'm not saying that Tamau's anywhere near what Letters is doing now, but that's the difference between, buying somebody who's in that situation, they're near the tail end of their career, and then making him your starting prop.
And captain, or one of several.
That's it.
But yeah, and I guess the other thing as well. I mean, they've got, they've got some of that Suwali money coming up.
Yeah,
that's going to save him a chunk of change.
Yeah, that's it.
I will say all the hullabaloo and the rugby contract. I don't know if he was spurred on by that, but that is legitimately the best game I've seen Suwali play.
Yeah, and he really had to step up into the breach and do it, and he's going to have to do it this week as well.
Yeah.
That says a fucking lot. How far above the best? Like, was he just miles above anything you've ever seen?
Oh, look, and it wasn't like he was, I mean, Jared Haining it or turboing it, if you know what I mean. Like he had some quality touches, and he was more involved given the role that he had to play, especially when Teddy come off. Mm-hmm. So he got his hands on the ball more, but.
And what you can say for him is that, like, they didn't really feel the loss of Teddy. That's how well he played.
Yeah, okay.
He stepped into that void, and put in a position where they weren't losing much.
Yeah, well, okay. There you go. Anything else you boys want to add on that one? Is it anyone? You want to talk about how bad Parramatta were?
Nah,
just general fuck the Eels, really.
Yep, cool.
They're where they should be.
Lovely. Now, forgive me, our Twitter family. I've really only done Facebook comments this week because I've had zero time. But we love you over on Twitter, and I'll make sure we're back to you next week as well. But Christopher in our Facebook group said, Eels losing is great. The only thing to top it is the sin bins and their fans refs faulting on socials. Really? Was there some Eels refs faulting?
The Eels the Eels supporters this year. I don't know if it's this year or if it's just like if it amplifies each year that they don't, get that premiership and the drought continues.
And ever and ever. I remember going to Para Stadium as a kid, and my dad telling people to shut up telling, for saying get them on side from the opening fucking whistle.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think with what we're seeing now is just there's all, because they're having these games that at least numerically at the end of the game they're a close margin. They're always finding that one thing that was disallowed or allowed either way that is the thing that cost them the game.
Yep. I get you. Anthony said, chin up, Eels fans. Brett Arthur only has a little bit left to run on his contract until they re-sign him. Gus, he said, professional is really the only word for it. JWH and Cheese played with discipline again. They win. Sue showed maturity beyond his years as well, with no signs of the fuss around him from the previous week. Interesting that Sivo didn't take him on 5 metres from the line and kicked. I was making chicken noises on the sofa. Tupu put on a great wingers shift in as well. There you go.
Sivo needs to take that kick out of his game because, I mean, he's very Jack Whiten-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, the fucking thing always just rockets dead. Never gives anybody an opportunity
I just
to chase.
think someone needs, and it comes down to coaching again, but someone needs to illustrate to him that he has a very limited skill set. It
and that one that they were talking
very
about,
hard and very fast. That's it.
But that one that he was the commenter was talking about. I mean, he'd beaten the cover, and he sort of had the corner was available to him against whoever that last defender was, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was one where that was like a classic Sivo. If
Barge
there was
over,
contact,
yeah.
he was just going to barge the guy. Yeah, exactly. He's barrel him out of the way. You know?
Yeah. Fucking hell. Nick, he said, Sue with the biggest teleport I've seen since RTS. Interesting. Lachlan said, having just watched the highlights, watching Nutho and Moses contest a referee for the first sin binning was gold, since the player never made it back to within 5 metres, let alone 10. Also, hearing Fittler say Teddy didn't look concussed made me realise I'm glad I'm not a New South Welshman and that Billy coaches Queensland. There you go.
Yeah. I watching with no volume as I do, and I don't, and I can't believe that's fucking hilarious if Freddie actually said that.
No, he 100% did, yeah.
I mean, the man was dead. Essentially, they revived him on the field. Fucking hell. Right, the Friday night first game, Panthers 53 defeated the Raiders 12 in Canberra. The Panthers had tries through Cleary, Crichton, Hosking, Peachy, Salmon, a double to Taruva and a double to Isaac Tungo. Cleary, 8 conversions and a disrespectful field goal. It wasn't really a disrespectful field goal. It was kind of at the end of the thing. Yeah, in the first half. The Raiders tries to Whitehead and Young with Fogarty 2 from 2. This was a game of two halves indeed.
In the end,
half time I was getting ready to sort of praise the Raiders a bit and say, well, you know, they fucking dug in and
yeah, they were in the game.
Good.
They were in the game and they were competing.
Yeah.
As the second half wore on, I think it became very obvious that over the course of 80 minutes, the Raiders just aren't on that level, and it showed. When Penrith started up, the intensity, as they tend to do when they realise they pull the lever and the contact goes to another level defensively, and you know that relentless pressure and playing field position and making the Raiders play from where they want them to. The Canberra just couldn't go with them; they fell apart. Highlight for me was Jamin Salmon's try celebration, or at least gobbing off at the crowd. I thought that was
pretty much that was pretty much the thing that came out of the game, right? I mean, that was the talking point.
Look, he's copped some flack for it, and there's a lot of people that tend to, reading through comments and stuff like that. He's got his fair share of detractors and haters, Salmon. Whilst I don't agree with how Stewart came out in the media and basically bagged him, there's obviously some smoke.
Are you talking about the original time, or did you say something after this game?
No, the original time.
Oh, okay.
But there's people like, he came up through the juniors and he was always a bit of a, grub and multiple comments like that, not just isolated. So there's probably some smoke there, but, it was very deliberate and very well planned to put him over at the end there. And, he had his moment.
Here's the thing.
Sorry, go ahead.
Do you know who the loudest detractors of salmon are?
We gutted dogs.
Paul Kent and vegans. and if you're ever on the same side of an argument as either of those group of cunts, then you are wrong. You are fucking wrong. You are essentially the white 60-year-old men standing in the way of the little 8-year-old African-American girl trying to go to school. You are on the wrong side of history. I did see a clip that someone sent to me about Paul Kent absolutely blowing up about all the shit that went on, and then what Ivan said in the press conference about good karma and all of that shit. But
was that Ivan or Nathan? I thought Nathan said that.
Oh, Cleary. I don't know which one.
Yeah.
I forget there's two of them.
No, you don't. No, you fucking don't. You remind everyone all the time.
But here's the thing. Like, Ricky fucking said it. And once something's out of your mouth, you're answerable to that forever. Fucking ever. Every time Penrith play Canberra from here on in, regardless now, the weak gutted dog thing is going to come up for as long as Ricky Stewart is a coach. And when Canberra finally punt his worthless ass and he ends up somewhere else, like fucking Canterbury or one of those other ones, Parramatta, it will come up every time then as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and honestly, I mean, if you got a problem with it, like there was no profanity.
No.
There was no obscene gestures or anything.
The biggest problem I have, the people that are coming out and saying, "Oh, Ricky got fined and suspended, and where's Salmon's fine and suspension?" I'm like, really? Take it one step further. Where's Katoni Stagg's fucking fine and suspension for his celebration last week against the Dolphins? Or
I've heard that too. And look, one of those situations, the reasons he was fined and suspended was because he is a coach and he was speaking about a child. Doesn't matter that Salmon's not a child anymore.
Mm.
Ricky Stewart had a crack at a child's behaviour because he was fucking bitter and spiteful. That's what it came down to. Yeah?
Fair.
Then again, once you have said that, you're right, there was no profanity, there was something. If there'd been a racial slur or something.
Yeah, or if he's throwing up middle fingers or something like that, then still, to me, who cares? But I can understand then people say, oh, there's kids there, they don't do blah, blah, blah. Fine. But him basically, having his right of reply using the words that were used against him that weren't profanity.
Exactly. He's taking it back. That's what he's doing.
Exactly.
I'm taking back weak gutted dog. Steve in the Facebook group.
Little porch salmon.
Title. Like Jules in Pulp Fiction, Oak stole their delicious Canberra milk beverage to wash down that tasty 50 burger. Gene said, as Daddy Cleary described eloquently in his press conference, good karma. Matthew said, I was trying to think of something humorous to say, but all I can think of is that Canberra are shit. They also look like a side who just jacked it in. Sharky Dave, he said, the Raiders have nothing to look forward to. No gun juniors, no rep players coming back from injury, nothing. Ricky deserves all of this. That's fucking dark, Dave. That is fucking dark. James, only fitting that Salmon brings up the 50, running straight through Canberra's weak-gutted defence.
There you go. See, the kids loved it.
There we are. That's the talking point of that game, obviously.
Okay, Friday night football. The Melbourne Storm 18 defeated the South Sydney Rabbitohs 10. The Storm tries to King, Warbrick and Munster. Meany 3 conversions from as many attempts. The Rabbitohs 10 tries to Cody Walker, Campbell Graham, and 1 conversion from Latrell.
Tough contest between two sides that are still, in their own ways, finding their way back to their best footy. Munster was good for Melbourne. I think he was probably the difference between the two sides. I've had a fair knock on Melbourne over the amount of plotters in their side, and I will admit that I had Warbrick, the winger, marked as a plotter. He's emerging from the plotter pack.
He was great in the trials.
Yeah, he was. He's also great in my fantasy team.
Jay's one of those fucking guys now.
Yeah, you're one of them.
It was fascinating because I didn't get to see the games this week.
Yeah. Okay.
I would, shit had come up on my phone. I'm trying to guess how the games are going by how much my fucking fantasy team's doing.
He was good. He's made of the right stuff. I like how he.
He's got you all turned around.
Yeah, just the try that he scored and the power that he showed to fucking run over the top of Alex Johnson, who had a nasty knock towards the end of the game too.
Face planted trying to score a try to get him back in.
But yeah, Melbourne. I don't know. They're obviously getting better. They've got a ways to go, and I think Hughes coming back into the side is going to make a huge difference. But the Rabbitohs, I expected more from them in this game, and I really thought that they would do a job on Melbourne. But Munster,
you expect more from just like Latrell seems to do nothing until like the last 20 minutes or something.
Demetriou with the most diplomatic or passive aggressive in some ways, I guess, saying we'd hope that Latrell would find a way to bring himself into the game a little earlier. Like fucking get involved, cunt.
Latrell didn't do shit as well. But it is a problem for the Rabbits though, because I mean he's such obviously an influential player and everything, but if you ain't gonna,
and he's one of those guys that just his sheer presence when he has his hands on the ball, guys are people get antsy, so he doesn't actually have to do a lot to impact a play.
No.
And then you put his skill and size and athleticism on top of that. You just want him to have the ball in his hands more often than not.
Is there some advantage for Latrell, and I'm not saying all game, and completely switching up how he plays, but moving from that added number either side of the ruck where he goes to playing that more Teddy-like middle game of the field where he's always hunting, always hunting around his forwards? Is that what's missing?
Him doing anything is what's missing. I mean, where he does it is the secondary thing. The first thing is just, fucking do something, bro.
Yeah.
Like, if I was a Souths fan, which thank God I'm not. I would never support a club that's been around for 20 years. But if I was, I would be screaming at the fucking television. So just do something.
Yeah. Okay.
You're the guy. You're the fucking man in that team. I
don't know. From what we've seen this year, I think that the difference is previously Latrell's been allowed to work himself back into a season, even if it takes till just before Origin.
Yeah.
And he's had that talent around him so that it wasn't totally to the team's detriment that he was doing that. If you look at those Roosters teams that he was a part of, they were good enough. He made them great, or he was part of what made them great. But there was enough around him to really win games quite comfortably as he warmed himself in. And again, those South teams he had when they still had Reynolds there organising them, and they were just on song, and their forward stocks were a little bit stronger, and they didn't have so many soft shell crabs in there.
Yep.
But now he's it.
Yeah.
He has to be the focal point. And it's going to be him doing his shit that allows the opposite to happen, like for Walker to have his fucking off brain snap games.
Yeah, but also you want Ilias to be able to. He's the one you want to work into the rotation and feel comfortable and play his game. And I mean, Latrell needs to be doing stuff for that to happen.
Nice, Terry in the socials. Rabbits are 8 behind with 5 minutes left, and you get a penalty in front of the sticks. Why would you not take the 2 and then go looking for a try? Murray should have been off the field for concussion, but surely there's enough smarts there to know that scoring twice means you take the easiest points on offer, then get the meat pie. Thoughts?
Yeah, I can see both ways. I understand the commoners point there, but I can see it from there. You know,
Nice.
especially the way South play as well. I mean, when they go bedlam at the end of a game, if they'd scored a try instead of taking the penalty, if they'd scored the try, then they'd just go crazy, chuck it around. I mean,
Yeah, that's it.
it's not out of the realm of possible. I mean, then you're not trying to win a penalty. I mean, they're trying to get like AJ to sneak in the corner somewhere. You know,
That's it. Gus, he said, third or fourth week in a row, Mitchell does nothing to warrant the hype. Did nothing wrong either, but can't help thinking there were gaps for him to exploit tonight, yet he's nowhere to be seen. Appreciate a lot of the hype is press-induced. That's true.
Very much so.
that's it.
That's it.
All right. Moving on to Saturday. Well, we're on Saturday. That was a fucking game. Oh, that's Friday night. Yeah, okay, so Saturday. We got the mighty Manly Seabs Eagles 32 defeated Newcastle Knights 32 out at Mudgee. The wonderful Manly to Mudgee promotion, as we discussed last week. Wineries out the arse. And all the photos I saw of friends that were in Mudgee.
At a winery.
At breweries and wineries and whatnot. Literally all of them.
And
So
all the
Mudgee-
different ones.
But yeah, Mudgee lived up to his reputation as a piss pot's paradise. Now, the game itself, Manly scored tries through Hamoli Olaquadu, Garrick, Christian Tuipulotu, Parker Tuolangi, and KO Weeks. Garrick 4 of 6 conversions. The Knights 32. They came through tries to Greg Marju, Jack Johns, and 4 tries to Dominic Young. And with Hastings getting 2 conversions and Lachlan Miller getting 2 conversions.
How good's
Go,
Hastings?
Glennie. Yeah,
Very.
we may as well. I'll actually start on that. My theory that I'm working on with Hastings at the moment, or with Newcastle at the moment, I mean, what they've demonstrated over the last couple of weeks is they, much like the Dolphins, there is this level of sort of grit and, you know, tenacity to the side where they try and keep themselves, you know, stay in games for the duration.
Yep.
And I mean, and having that sort of desire, you know, built into a team, it's fucking great because you're kind of halfway there. But my theory on Hastings is that clearly they're going better without Ponga.
Yep.
And my theory behind it is that without now that Newcastle have to put this revolving cast of NPCs in the 6 jersey, and it could be like, you know, at times it's, you know, Crossland being in there, as, you know, Tyson Gamble, whatever, man, I suppose.
Fuck.
It allows Jacko to be the senior guy there, and so he gets all the calls, and he can basically do what he did last year for Tigers.
Yep.
And which gives them this baseline performance that then they can work off with individual brilliance from, you know, basically just Dominic Young, but it gives them a base there that is like a base competence for 80 minutes of a rugby league game.
Yeah, okay.
And
Which is something that another team that has recent experience with Jackson Hastings playing for them doesn't have.
did that team go on a bit of run, you know, beat some, you know, some upset wins and took some final sides to the wire and during his run there? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Are you talking about the same team? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a stark contrast. You look at the way that the Tigers going in the halves this year.
Just saying, I'm not talking about the Roosters or Manly.
Yeah. But when you look at how the Tigers are going this year with the halves and just their general baseline quality in a game and how they can and how long they can stick in a game, or like, you know, at least how they perform,
10 minutes.
it's fucking worlds apart. And I feel like it's just that's been just transferred directly to the Knights, who
Absolutely.
have a better forward pack, who have a decent hooker, and, you know, things that the Tigers didn't have last year.
Okay.
Hey, listen, you're fucking killing you're killing him though too. We'll get to that. Now this game, fucking,
You've got a lot to say. Can I just make one comment?
Please go.
Lockie Miller
Yes.
has to regret signing Jamie Soward as his defensive mentor. Has to. That was one of the worst moments I've seen for a guy that's been going so well.
I think for me, that is maybe the worst defensive thing I've ever seen in my fucking life of watching rugby league.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Because it wasn't just like he didn't misread the attack or anything and open up a gaping hole. He didn't miss a tackle that he probably should have made. Manly are coming at him with Hamoli with the ball in hand and he had like Daly on one side, I think, and Tommy on the other side looming up in support. So you had a 3-on-1. You're the fullback, and you're the last guy. You pick a guy, go for an intercept.
Yep.
Make him pass, do something.
He stayed
he kept
behind the try line.
Well, no, not that he stayed behind the try line. He was backpedaling towards the dead ball line, and so Hamoli was just kept running.
To be honest,
if
he's behind the try line, it doesn't matter how far.
and Hamoli just ran up the try line and just flopped onto his belly and scored the try. And Miller's still backpedaling over the dead ball line at that point. It was legitimately the worst fucking. It's just because it's so inexplicable. It wasn't like, oh, he didn't read the player. It's just like. It was like Ben Cray in Origin when he went to start with Justin Hodges. He started fighting around, except it wasn't a fight. It was a guy carrying the ball
just to make a tackle. But if it was under 10s or, like if under 12s or something, and a kid did that, you'd be like, you got to get him out of there. He's going to hurt. Like, he's going to get hurt. He doesn't want to tackle.
I mean, the game and the conduct around parents around children's sport, it's thankfully has evolved and gotten a lot better over the last certainly since I was playing as a little kid. But no parent and no official at the ground would bat an eyelid if you just bollocked the fucking cunt. if a 7-year-old fucking did that. Oh my god! Yeah, it was terrible and. Has there been an did he ever have a chance to explain himself, like how he fucked up? So like what it was?
No,
because the commentators were saying, oh, did he? Is it the ground? Did he like fuck up and he thought the 10-meter line was a try line or like what I mean? Like that was the speculation. But I haven't actually heard anything from the horse's mouth to explain it. But I guess that's probably the best.
Even still, why are you backpedaling?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's right. Even if it's a 10-meter line, why are you backpedaling to the try line?
Was there some genius in the crowd that yelled like offside, Lockie or something? He stayed out of the play.
I don't know. It was pretty ordinary for all his attacking brilliance. He does have some issues in defense.
Well, he goes back to square one now because he was getting plenty of raps.
Yeah.
But the game's played on both sides of the ball, and if you're at that level and you show some absolute unwillingness, I'll put it, that's as polite as I can be, to get involved in making a tackle, then like that against, fair enough, he's a big guy. I don't want to tackle that guy. I'm also not playing in the NRL and being paid to do that.
Do you reckon one does it for him though, or does this just become his meme like Greg Inglis's field goal? And I'm not saying he's
I hope so.
It certainly will, yeah.
But it's not exactly a behaviour yet, I would suggest.
No, there was some other defensive things in the game that weren't great either, and I guess he's just not. I guess he's just not. While he's an excellent attacking weapon from fullback, like you like to see. I don't think that the defensive game of fullback is quite there with him yet, and I don't know if that's.
I think it's fairly obvious that you're not making a lot of tackles in rugby sevens. Just saying.
No, and I mean, but even in rugby sevens, you don't really backpedal, do you?
I don't know. I can't say I've ever watched rugby sevens.
in the Olympics or Commonwealth Games or whatever, that's the only time I would watch it, I'd say. And the other big fucking idiot in this game was fucking Big Hamoli. He's having, undoubtedly, a career year so far. I mean, he's unbelievable. He looks like he's one of the strongest guys in the competition. He's fucking beasting it, putting hits on, but the difference between this game being a draw and being like something like a 40-18 kind of win was him being a fucking idiot, like the fucking sin binning. He didn't and the thing is, he didn't make proper contact on the guy anyway. I mean, if you're gonna try and impede a guy from chasing a kick through to score a try, don't just fucking give him a fucking low five on the way through, because that's essentially all it was.
Yeah, fuck.
Fucking knock him over, mate, and that cost us 12 points, and then this fucking brain explosion at the end cost us the game, cost us the win outright when we had the ball and we were attacking 15 metres out from the try line on third tackle. And while I will concede that what he was penalised for is very rarely penalised, I mean usually they're just like fucking calm down and just play the ball. Don't fucking do it. It was unnecessary.
So could I suggest then? For all of your prayers for it, you have been given the most chaotic player in rugby league.
Well, I mean, it's
Like
just this game though.
he'll
It was
score
this game, so
a remarkable try, but then
yeah. I mean,
okay.
this game, he was absolutely. I mean, he was fucking chaos, and I mean,
Yeah.
like everyone knows, I'm a connoisseur of chaos. So, you know, maybe I willed this into existence. I don't know, but maybe I manifested it. Expect chaos. Done. But and the game, so it was weird. It was a weird game because you look at the score and you go, oh well, it must have been a fucking terrible game. Tons of errors. The completions were super high from both sides. The errors were super low from both sides. Missed tackles though, fucking abysmal.
Yeah, okay.
Absolute epitome of defense optional game.
Yep.
And it was just this contrast of Manly are like a fucking Lamborghini being driven by a fucking ADD fucking child, where they blasted out of the gates in this game. It came so fucking easily, the win, and it was looking for all intents and purposes like it was going to be 50-0 game. And when that sin bin happened and things got a bit tough, they just checked out. And then Newcastle got a match-winning lead. They were leading by 12 with not long to go. And then they switch on and go, oh, fuck, that's right, we've got to play. Bang, bang, scored instantly, got back, went back to back, got it, and then got ahead. And then, again, just got too easy. Score 3 tries in 5 minutes. Let's just fucking, worry about something else again. Think about the wonderful wineries of the Mudgee region. And I tell you, it's the funny, this game, the emotional fucking roller coaster, though. Because I was like, we're playing like shit. This is a fucking great wake up call. They deserve to lose this game, so they get that fucking get the wake up call that they need to be fucking switched on for 80 minutes because the competition this year especially is a lot closer than it has been in forever. But then they get the lead, and you get the win, and you get the lead, and you're going like, oh fuck, well look, they're going to get away with these 2 points that they clearly don't fucking deserve. Is this a good thing or not? But then when it got into extra time, I mean, when it gets to Golden Point, you don't want to fucking lose in Golden Point. And the Knights by far had the greater opportunities. I mean, Manly had to literally charge down 2 field goal attempts from very close range. And so it was almost a little bit of redemption for fucking O'Shea for losing the game for us last week with his drop, bringing the ball out from his own end at the start of Golden Point. This time he charged one of the field goals down. I mean, so, and then it felt like almost like, well, fuck, we actually, that was great. We got 1 point out of that because they had some great opportunities to knock it over. And, Hastings, we know, can fucking bang them over from halfway.
Yeah.
As we've seen. So, and especially when he had the wind with him as well, when he was trying, when he had the good attempts to go for it. But it was fucking weird. So I guess, as you've said a lot over the years, Glennie, it was the loss we had to have on the way. And this was the loss that we had to have. But we still got a point out of it, so it's kind of like, it's hard to articulate. Like it's kind of like, yeah, but then I don't know. It's just, yeah.
On to next week.
Wake up, cunts. Yeah, wake the fuck. Treat it as a wake up call that it was.
Beautiful. Stuart, he said, I don't get why a draw at 80 minutes is so offensive. You need to change the rules, but a draw at 90 minutes is fine. If you really want a result, let Golden Point go indefinitely. Otherwise, can it? Daniel said, has a player ever been involved in more tries for both teams than Lachlan Miller was today?
Fair.
Zach said, should have played Woods. LOL. There was a fair bit of that. Liam.
Hey, can I just go, because this is with the Aaron Woods thing. I was reading a match report today and I watched the highlights of Blacktown's game. Yeah. And I think it was like their first win of the season, actually. And they fucking flogged the Knights. It was like 36-6 or something. But they scored 2 tries right away and were leading 12-0. Then the Knights hit back and I think it was 12 points to 4 or something like that. And then Woodsy came on in the 23rd minute or something. And the score, and Manly didn't score any more points in the first half.
Fucking hell.
And he was on for a 30-minute stint, so he came up and he got off after half time, and then Manly piled it on and ended up winning 36-6.
There we go.
Including tries to fucking Toff Sipley, another prop, and a double to a second row. Stucky. So
Liam, he said at least Aaron Woods would have made a terrible defensive read before the 90 was up, allowing this battle of ineptitude to finish earlier.
That's true.
David, our resident Dolphins expert, is DCE officially the anti-clutch after that display? not taking 2 field goals and completely fucking the third one seems very unclutch to me. How do you
one of them
that?
was like, well, I mean, one of them was, it was like a, the problem is we are a fucking stupid team at setting up for field goals. We have been, even though he's got such an amazing record of field goals, it's despite the fucking team around him, because consistently I've never seen a team that is more fucking stupid at playing a set with the intention of setting up for a field goal at the end of the set. And like, this is weird shit. Like, Ruben Garrick was taking fucking like yardage hit ups on the 4th tackle on this, you know, to get him up to, like, you know, sort of 40 meters out or anything. I mean, so the forwards are lazy cunts. I mean, it fucking drives me absolutely mental.
Yeah.
And then there was some unlucky shit too, like where Manly were nowhere near a field goal attempt, but they made a 40-meter break and get cut down 10 centimeters out from the try line that would have won the game in Golden Point. But then at that point, that was the last tackle, and there's no, you know, and then your chance of a field goal, that set's been fucked because you almost scored a try, you know? It's just circumstances. I mean, he had some times where he could have taken a shot but didn't. But I think as well that Jackson Hastings was insistent when the Golden Point, when it started, he was straight on the blower to the coach saying, we want to run this way, because obviously there was a preferred way to kick field goals, and that was the way that he was running in that half of Golden Point as well. So maybe there's a win there. I don't know. But,
Okay.
You know, should have fucking done it.
There we
I
go.
agree with you.
Nice. Liam, Manly weren't good enough to win. We weren't bad enough to lose. It was a deserved result. There we are. Next game.
The St. George Illawarra Dragons 38 defeat the Dolphins 12 at Wynn Stadium. The Dragons 38 tries to Little, Zach Lomax, Blake Laurie, Ben Hunt, Tyrell Sloan, and a double to Michaeli Ravalawa. Lomax 5 of 7 conversions, defeating the Dolphins 12 points. Tries to Isako and the Hammer. Isako 1 conversion and 1 penalty goal.
Wynn's a tough place to go and win without their best, or their halfback, which you know, their entire game plan and how the Dolphins have structured how they go about their business around.
And then when that guy is actually subbed in Anthony Milford to replace an irreplaceable cog of their team, and then he gets injured early in the piece as well.
That's not something that the Dolphins have had time to adapt and evolve to learn how to overcome that in the course of a game.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, I don't know too many teams that could lose their 7 and then the backup and still be okay anyway.
Yeah.
You know, teams that played together.
Extremely difficult, and I think it showed in the result. To their credit, the Dragons took full advantage and you know, piled on some points.
They put it on them, yeah.
Yeah. And didn't really let their foot off either. They kept putting the Dolphins under pressure, and I think this is a real test of the Dolphins' depth or lack thereof. And you know, this O'Sullivan's gone for months, right? Like it's got to be 12 weeks or so. Time.
And it's very easy when you get in these inspirational wins and you're riding the wave.
Yeah.
But now they've got to dig out of it.
You know, a loss to the Dragons down there, you know, with things going against you, it's tough. But I thought Ben Hunt had a great game, and Sloan as well. Like, it was good. It's good to see him starting to play with a lot more confidence. You know, slicing through and backing himself.
Yep.
So that's good signs for the Dragons. But I think the next 2 to 3 weeks for the Dolphins are critical as to how their season's going to pan out, because their depth is, as I said, being seriously tested, and someone's going to have to step up. I'm not sure Milford's that guy, and I don't know that Katoa's got anywhere near the experience. So,
what's the injury situation with Milford anyway?
Good question.
Yeah, so they got Cowboys, Rabbits, then Titans over the next 3, followed by Raiders. So you'd think if they sort of found themselves again, I mean, Titans, Raiders, maybe Cowboys the way they're going. I mean, there's some winnable games in there for them. But
I think, you know, as good as Marshall King's been in the games that he's played so far this season, I think it's a real test and an opportunity for him to step up and be that guy that the game plan is going to be centered around as, you know, a real dominant part of the spine with the Hammer. You know, if he can, you know, take control of the ruck and get time and space and get the forwards coming onto the ball, and running angles, creating, some tired forwards and a bit of space around the ruck. The Hammers' speed can really capitalise on that. So I think it's an opportunity for Marshall King.
Yeah. Okay. Anything
That's
else you want to add on that one?
No.
Finlay, what a missed opportunity to be a Dolphin supporter with a name like that. Glorious, the Dragons using that blowhole like a freshly baked sponge cake, only to be followed by Haas and Carrigan running a train on the MI's cuckold team of frittatas.
And look, I replied to that comment because it caught my eye, and I realised that he's relatively new to the group, and so potentially to the show as well. And I had to send him a message. I had to send a message in a reply to that comment and say, "Listen, you've adapted to the fucking dynamics of this of this podcast and this group." It reminded me of I was in Bill and Ted's when they go Billy the Kid, you've adapted to the intricacies of time travel most excellently, or whatever the quote was.
Oh, I love it. Winston. The week the Dragons offload Aaron Woods, they play like an NRL team, while Manly take him on and can't beat the Knights. Lando. G's up, fins down. Saints showing me why I didn't bury all the merch in my cupboard in a hole in the backyard and jump ship on a team that teased with their lack of baggage. The baggage hurts, but it's something to stand on when you get a win. Yeah, look, that's terrible. As far as motivational quotes go, the baggage is something to stand on when you get. Are you too short to celebrate with your friends?
I think he says to use it like a stage or use it as a pulpit.
Did your mum put your trophy on the top shelf? You're not allowed to touch it. You want to show your friends at school? Fucking hell, you Dragons fans and your self-rationalising bullshit. Fuck me.
You want to kick the Dragons, Glennie? You'll be very positive about them.
Oh, they're the same as Broncos fans. They've beaten a team that's been in the competition for fucking 4 rounds, that had fucking 80% of their starting lineup out, and going off like it makes them fucking relevant. Jesus fucking Christ. Jordan, in the serious department, how does Milf have a job? Bloke's been in a steady decline since 15 grand final, but somehow he still gets a gig. Surely there's someone who even looks interested in playing that would be better suited. I don't know. I say this a lot about people, but he might take the cake for this. Is Anthony Milford the greatest thing that never was? Like, think back to him.
What if he never left Canberra?
Yeah.
But I mean, even when he left Canberra, though, I mean, he was an absolute lock and probably still should have, despite the result, won the Clive Churchill medal in 2015 grand final.
Yeah.
Head and shoulders best fucking player on the field. And because the result flipped on its head at the very end and there was, the field goal and everything.
Yeah.
They switched it up. But so that was something after leaving Canberra. But then that was the turning point.
That's it.
Because he was good the next season as well. But then it was progressive decline and he never got any anywhere near that.
Did he get in his head that he never had the help he did then ever again? Because if you look back over all these grand final winning combos, and I've lost fucking
Ben
count.
Hunt sure helped him to lose his Clive Churchill medal and premiership ring, yeah.
He did, but then take on to that Ben Hunt has gone from strength to strength. And while it took him a while to get himself out of the woods mentally,
they
were both fucking kids. They were absolute fucking children when they went in there. But all those like great grand final winning halves combinations, you have that smart, stoic, organising 7 with the live wire, run first attitude 6.
Yep.
That, but Milford just has never recovered. You see the blemish on Wayne's resume?
Oh, I think he's one that, but then you've got 2015 to say.
He was ruined out of Wayne's hands, though, too.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, fair call.
He got ruined by Hook.
He did.
And Kevy.
He did.
Siebes. Obviously the Harvard shit couldn't get through that fucking head.
And is it that thing where Wayne is one of those people who's like, those old sayings like, you can't teach attitude and all of that stuff, where he saw something.
Eggs don't bounce.
He saw something in the kid once.
You can't hang mince on hooks. That's what that kind of wisdom.
Chromosomes are unpredictable.
Gilfs are delicious.
Oh, fucking hell. Imagine Wayne pulling your pants down and going, oh, did someone say KFC? God,
it's crazy the amount of ads they've got him into, though, right?
I know.
Oh, it's crazy.
The next one.
I thought it was just the KO one where he sat at the press conference, and then there was another one I saw the other day as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Fucking
there's another
hell.
one.
Has he done that Michael Jordan thing and realised that he'd like just a little bit more money before he goes?
Yeah, maybe. I'd say it's because I think it was an ad for KO though as well. It was just a different one, and so I think it's just being they're the sponsors of the ground for the Dolphins, and
Yeah, I gotcha.
perhaps he's just absolutely just been headlocked into contractual obligation.
Yeah,
and he has to suffer through these things, and because his persona, that people who aren't players under him, that they see all the time, is just like a grumpy cunt. He can do that in the ads. No problem.
Apparently, that documentary on him's quite good.
Oh, the one about the Dolphins on Stan.
I don't know whether it was about the Dolphins or whether there was one about him.
Okay.
In that
because
he spoke a lot about how he comes across as this like blunt, absolute asshole, but it's actually because he's terrified up there and doesn't want to do press conferences and media engagements and that. But he does it because he has to, because it's part of his contract.
Yeah.
And that's the only way he can get through them is to.
Fuck me, that explains the kinship between him and Darius Boyd.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
That's it.
Because he was the same. He was the exact same guy. Yeah. Well, I don't think Wayne would do the fucking kick a footy fucking gender reveal at the end of the season after getting the wooden spoon.
Fuck me. Yes, that's terrible.
Anyway, is that the socials for that one done?
That's it.
Righto, so we move on to the Broncos. 46, defeating the West Tigers 12 at Suncorp Stadium in front of a live crowd of 27,552, plus Glennie. The Broncos 46 tries to Capewell, Haas, Cobbo, Farnworth, a double to Jordan Ricky, and a double to Tony Staggs. Reynolds 7 conversions from 8 attempts. The Tigers 12 tries to Papali'i and Simpkin. Dewey 2 from 2 conversions. Talk us through, Glennie. You were there.
I was. Tell you, it was pretty sweet getting parked directly under Suncorp Stadium and get to drive around the bowels, if you will, of the stadium. It was very cool. Seats were up in the corporate area, quite high, but good viewing position. Not that I needed it because I really wanted to shut my eyes through most of the game after 10 minutes in. We were fucking atrocious. There's no doubt about it. Brooks was horrible. Dewey was fucking... If not for Lockie Miller's effort on Hamali, Dewey's effort on Ricky would have to go down as the poorest fucking fullback attempted a tackle for the weekend, or the season so far for sure. He's not a fullback, and I think it speaks to his effort that Jay likes to bring up, where he said if I'm not going to play 6, play me in Reggie's. Well, he said if you're not going to play me at 6, play me in Reggie's, and Sheensy said no, you're playing fullback. He's like, righto, so I'll just play like I'm playing in Reggie's.
Or pretend I'm Reggie's.
And he was bad, and he's not a guy in the time that he's been at the Tigers so far. I can't speak for his time at South, but he's a guy that you would never fold his effort, and you would have a look at his game and say, okay, he was at least trying his guts out. This was a game where he wasn't trying his fucking guts out, and he was really bad. As far as the Tigers go, I don't have a great deal more to say other than there's a fair opportunity with how the media is coming at them and the fans, you know, and the results so far, and you know, it's all piling on. There's an opportunity to build a solid siege mentality and turn the season around, but I don't think they care enough.
No, I think more the opportunity, because I've just noticed over the last couple of days, like since this game, I've noticed the media actually starting to turn on previously protected elements like Pascoe
Yeah.
and Lee. You know, whereas normally
they're coming hard at Pascoe, which
they never came up. They never came up before in the conversations, but this week particularly, you can see there has been a decision made by the News Limited, Fox guys, that they're coming for fucking Pascoe now. And
well, because Benji's there.
Yeah.
They can't go after their mate, and I think Sheens as well is quite a bit of a, like, he's had his share of flack so far this season, deservedly so. Yeah. But they're not going as hard.
I put that down too. The media are fucking shit at a lot of things, but one thing they are very good at is analysing what does and does not generate clicks.
Yeah.
Even so
taking the temperature of their constituents.
Exactly. So even down to the fact that they would know that the West Tigers, and they've come out and admitted it, that the West Tigers generate clicks.
Yeah.
They are such a meme club that everyone's interested, either from that fucking, like poverty porn sort of thing where you want to watch them just to see the dumpster fire, or fans of the club that want to, ring it and watch it and get all pissed off that they're talking badly.
Yeah, they see an outrageous headline and how dare they, and that's bullshit.
Yeah. But even within that, they would have figures and data and very carefully monitored stats on what subjects and topics and contents generate the most clicks, and they'd look at keywords on social media. They'd look at how often does the word CEO or Pascoe appear in a tweet about the West Tigers.
Mate, can I tell you, just from a work perspective, we were approached by News Limited to handle and put a proposal together to handle some of our digital marketing. The levels that they have available to them to extract data and report is proper Big Brother. Like, it's fucking scary.
Oh, dude, consider where I used to work.
Of course, yeah.
It's like, if I get 6 data points about you, I can have a machine come back scarily accurately tell me, these 10 purchases will come out of you in the next 6 months.
Yeah. To the point where they can say, okay, we can, if you tell us a point, a town, a house, an area, geographical location, which could be just a town that's predominant, like in a mining region, or you can drill it down to be a competitor, and everyone that has an iPhone that goes within what they call a digital fence of that location.
Yep.
Will see, and no matter where it is in the country, if you identify it, they will see an ad on their social media for your business, like for our business.
Yep.
If we identify it. It's just like, holy fuck. So, yeah, they'll have some data about shit that's been spoken, or the amount of times Justin Pascoe's name is coming out in social media or the
100%
media, It's crazy. So, and look, deservedly so. There's...
No, I'm fucked off, because if he gets fired...
These podcasts 30 minutes fucking quicker.
That's it.
You love winning.
Yeah, I know.
So if he gets fired, you win.
No,
you're right along.
No.
It's the thrill of the beating.
I need him to stay there. Well,
but also,
sick. Glennie, the fun isn't when you take the barbed wire wrapped pole and throw it in the bin. The fun's watching it go in and out.
Right.
I need him there forever.
That's a little sick.
I need fucking stretching quads and haircuts and fucking blonde tips and giving
I have to say
showbags
though,
to people that hate him.
We're all in complete alignment on Pascoe. But like you see the attack vectors they're trying to use against him now in the media, like that photograph of him.
My personal
on the
favourite,
field in the polo.
That photo where they said he was in tracksuit pants.
Yeah, but also that photo was like he said. Well, that photo was like 2 hours before fucking warm up, and because when we're traveling and we travel with the team, if they need someone to put the fucking cones down or they need someone to carry the fucking kit bag, I'm there and I do that, and like which to me is like that's completely reasonable. But
not too good for any position. Fair enough.
They're starting to like just use like here's a photo of him on the field with a footy in his hand.
Why is he coaching the team?
Yeah, what is he coaching the team? Why is he hanging around warm up and stuff like that? He's a CEO. He should be fucking whatever. Like, so it's funny they're just trying. They're clearly at the stage now where they're just trying to dig up anything they can and weaponize it against him.
They're trying to generate clicks.
Yeah.
Even you saying that is giving fucking motive to them that is not there. They are just trying to generate clicks. No,
he's doing it. Like as far as the team and the counter argument to Pascoe, people that say Pascoe's doing a shit job. Well, on the field, yes, I tend to agree.
Commercially, they're doing extremely well. Yeah,
he could probably put forward a reasonable case to go, well, hang on a sec, here's what we were doing when I came in, here's where we're at now commercially and financially, which is reasonable, but if he's not responsible for the overall performance of the team outside of the players, which we've turned the playing roster over how many times, and the coach, which we've turned over how many times, the next stop for the fucking train is him.
Yep.
So yeah.
Now the next question that I had for you, Glennie, is about your mate Dano. You see what's happened with Dano recently?
No, I did see that he played New South Wales Cup on the weekend.
Yeah, right? they're attacking him now as well because the NRL on their Instagram account had highlights, and it was a highlight of when Cobbo took the intercept, and then Dane Laurie's hit the like button on it as well. So they're saying, which is it's like to me it's a massive nothing burger, but maybe to West Tigers fans. Also, when you take it in conjunction with the Penrith jersey, like I mean, I don't know.
I saw that, and I can see the angle they're trying to take, and it's an easy target given that situation after the grand final win. But I don't think it's a great look for him. He probably should be a little bit more self-aware, but he's also a very proud Indigenous man, and would have seen a highlight of another very proud Indigenous man, doing something great and probably just liked it, and we move on, But
also, highlights are fucking awesome.
or it's just the way that they do shit now. Like how much do you see in American sports where an Instagram post or liking this or a comment on a tweet or retweeting something is the precursor to something coming out?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, he did play Reggie's this week, so I mean, it could be fuck those guys.
He can't be happy. He has legitimately been the best player on the field for him.
Yeah.
Through all of the shit last year, he tried his absolute fucking guts out. And this is why cunts like Dewey are poison. So Dewey's been given his fullback spot. You reckon he's been gracious about it?
No.
There you go. Yeah, there would be so much going on there that it's just this perfect storm of shit cunts.
The only way to turn around is fucking win, but I don't see when that comes.
Yeah.
Because if you look at our next 3 games, even Sheen's come out and said we're going to struggle to beat the bye.
Yeah. And someone needs to have a word in his fucking ear too to cool it on that dumb shit. I mean, he thinks he's making a funny joke, but I mean, if that was my team, if that was my coach, I would be fucking going nuclear.
It would be so fucking good just for us to get like press accreditation, only to use it a couple of times every season, but honestly to turn up next week and be like, hey, so Sheensy, what makes you think that after failing in the Super League, and someone put this in the comments, and I don't know if I got it out or not, that the Super League was a place that was good enough for Trent Barrett and Nathan Brown to look amazing.
To resurrect their careers and come back and land NRL jobs.
So you couldn't succeed. You failed in a land where fucking Trent Barrett succeeded, along with Nathan Brown, what makes you think you're a first-grade coach here anymore?
Fair.
Answer that question.
And that would be the end of accreditation.
Worth it. Fucking worth it.
Hey, just about the Broncos, they're okay. If you look at their performance in totality, they played about as well as they did last week.
Yeah, they bombed.
Which is to say,
they bombed 6 tries.
Which is a very error prone, not high completion. And I guess it just contrasts where the Tigers are sitting right now, whereas it was an epic game last week that was only sealed in the final seconds of the game via a virtual intercept, with a kick return to the house.
Yep.
Versus a almost 50 burger.
Nasty.
That was a large disparity.
Just on the Broncos, I think Reece Walsh is starting to get to that level where, right at the minute, the form that he's in, he's got that spark about him where every time he touches the ball, it's panic stations. I think I'll be interested to see how he handles some really top quality opposition over the coming month or 2 months to truly see where his game's at. But the way he's slotting into that side, the space and time that he's got as a result of the way Reynolds is playing is, and the work that the forwards are doing and how they're structuring their game plan is really getting the absolute best out of where his game's at the moment. It's impressive to watch.
Beautiful.
It's also very clear at the moment there is a way and a time in games where Brisbane are ripe for the fucking picking, and that is when they lose Haas and Flegler.
Yeah.
And have to rely on Marty Tapau. And there's a massive difference in the fortunes of the side. Yeah. And a good side is going to certainly get prosper from that.
That's it. I think that came up as well, FMF. But Toto, he said, I'm meant to be ecstatic with a diamond dick after that demanding win. Instead, I feel sad and angry for the Tigers fans. Is this the type of shit performance from your team you have to watch every week?
Yes.
Dewey is a fucking spud of a fullback. No desire, urgency or heart. Should have been hooked 20 minutes in. Just moved him to Perth. And he knows how shit cunts from Perth are.
Yep, it's true.
He knows. Lachlan, so the Broncos weren't doing anything special tonight. Tigers aren't in a position that's not all that different to the Broncos of 2020. Shit halves and shit fullback. Shift Dewey to the halves maybe and get a fullback who can run all day and organise the defence. Brooks should have been dropped yesterday. Glennie, if you want to change Broncos from your second favourite team to your first favourite, you'll be welcomed with open arms. Well, to paraphrase somebody, I would fucking vomit every time I was around a group of people that would want Glennie as a member.
Wow.
Tim.
The thing is as well, though, I mean, it wouldn't be just random listeners of the show that would welcome me with open arms. I mean, it's his family and friends would also welcome him to a similar level because he was sat in that box with nothing but fucking Broncos fans and he went with at least 3 other people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
My son was in his absolute element and he fucking gave it to me for 80 minutes solid. 80 minutes solid.
But tell
He's
me,
paid
though,
attention.
wouldn't that be the biggest win to those absolute fucking validation vampires that are Broncos fans? Like when one person would switch teams.
Yeah.
When was the last time you think someone switched teams to the Broncos was?
To the Broncos?
Yeah.
Fuck, who would they even switch from? 1988, I reckon. Like people who lived in Brisbane are like, oh, well, there's a local team now, may as well.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
That's the last time someone switched to the Broncos.
Tim. This guy agrees with you, Nate. He said exact same game plan from the Broncos tonight as they did against the Dolphins last week. The only difference was the Tigers' utter shit defence. 70 and 73% completion, 20 and 27 missed tackles, 15 and 11 errors. The Bronx played shit, just not as shit as the Tigers. Both Tigers' tries came from the period where Flegler was in for Tapau and Haas in for Jets.
Oh, wow. I'm glad the Broncos fans could see.
The Tigers' tries, one was from a bit of a scramble from a kick and one was a dive over from dummy half. I don't know that Haas and Flegler are really stopping either of those.
You're in the position there where when you scored those tries, I mean, you were at worst tied for the second half. So you almost, gave Sheezy his Christmas present and won the second half. I mean, obviously it got well away in the end there, but
Here we are, Matthew, who I think from the sounds of things watches a fair bit of Super League. He said, I said last year Sheens was a geriatric who was sacked by clubs in England who went on to improve after his departure. He is finished as a coach, and what they do about Benji, fuck knows, but they need to scrap whatever the plan is and get an actual rugby league coach into the club. Also, haha, Bateman, go fuck yourself. So there's some agendas there that I have no idea what they are, but fuck, I'm here for it.
I think they just need to get a real coach in on top of Benji, keep the Benji plan, because they don't have to cash that in for another 2 years, for a year and a half or whatever.
Yep.
But so get a real coach, see if that changes things. Because what they mean is they want immediate improvement from the Spoon level side. And they want to see an upward trajectory that, hopefully continues when Benji takes the reins.
Not going to happen.
So, what do you reckon if the smoke for Pascoe is genuine?
Yeah.
If he goes, do they try and save face by shifting Sheens up and then going, well, we've got a coach for 2 years
to make Sheens CEO?
Well, this is my question. I don't know that he's qualified.
Fucking hell.
I'm fair. I'd be almost certain that he's not a career coach.
Like
I would imagine he doesn't have the credentials for the commercial business.
Manly are like a Lamborghini driven by an ADHD kid. Like, that'd be like giving a bazooka to a kid with cerebral palsy. Fucking hell.
Yeah, fair. But this is how they think. Oh, we've got to save face. There's a job going. We've cleared the seat.
I think it would be more the idea of getting a new CEO in who's qualified suitably to continue whatever good work Pascoe did on the commercial side, and then that person can also be the hatchet guy, much like Mestrov was when he was brought into Manly, and then he can be the clean slate guy, and say, look, this club has been blah blah. We've been through 16,000 coaches, or however many the number is over the period since we were last in the finals. That's unacceptable. And then he would need to probably bring in someone who's actually excites the fan base as in terms of reconstruction.
This is the most frustrating thing. They had that opportunity to do that with Sheens. That's exactly what they had the opportunity to do.
Yeah, for not Sheens though.
For Sheens to come in and to say to him, okay, so mate, we need some dead weight gone, and it is our number 7. It's arguably our 6. It's a bunch of our fucking outside backs.
Yep.
We've got some really good young outside backs. We've got some really good young forwards early in their career. But we need to get rid of everything else. That was Sheen's opportunity.
Yeah, but instead he recommended they give him a job as actual head coach rather than just like a guy coming on to consult.
No, okay, so I have been involved in or around so many fucking instances where a new person comes into a senior position, either be it in the company that I've worked for or for one that we've been associated with, and I have never seen a situation where somebody has come in and gone, cool, we're just going to leave things exactly as they are, and I'm going to improve you.
Yeah.
I have never seen it, and I'm talking like CFOs and down.
Yep.
I don't think it's ever happened in business.
Yep.
How the fuck Sheens comes in there and he goes, oh, yeah, okay, we're going to keep this team that got the spoon. We're going to add a hooker that joked about not wanting to be here.
Yeah.
And that'll just do it.
Well, and a second rower that fought pretty hard not to go there.
Yeah, that's it. So,
who's also playing like that too at the moment. I mean, I know he got his name on the scorer sheet, but fucking, he's been hopeless.
Yeah.
He's dragged down to Tigers level quicker than anyone I've ever seen.
He's Adam Blairing it.
I was just going to say that, Glennie. But that was Sheens' opportunity. Well, fuck, okay, I get in here and I need to get rid of some shit. So best case scenario, I've done the right thing and the locker room's a little bit more positive.
Yep.
Worst case scenario, we keep losing and then I can fall back on, well, yeah, but I've got rid of that stuff. You can't expect instant results.
Yeah.
We now need to rebuild.
It's a 5-year plan of rebuilding the club.
Exactly.
Yeah. But they got a 5-year plan of getting the spoon 2 times and then unknown what the fuck Benji brings after that.
Like, that's a fucking gigantic misstep. And that should be all you need to know about both Sheens and Pascoe.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Benji too because he's like sat there with his dinner reservation, and he knows for a fact that he is basically walking into a restaurant to eat this fucking 13-course degustation made from the fucking shit of various animals from around the world.
Can you imagine? I'll alter this situation a bit, and Benji's sitting there waiting in the wings, ready to take over from Wayne.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
You know, look at the two clubs, the Dolphins and the Tigers. Fuck me. Greg, defence this year has disappeared quicker than a Madeleine McCann in a Portuguese hotel room.
Joe, I love Madeleine McCann references.
Yes.
That's tremendous.
I think that was for the next game anyway, but fuck, it was a good comment.
Yeah, it probably was actually. Come on, shall I move on to that one then?
Go for it.
The Warriors, 32, defeat the Cronulla Southern Sharks 30 at Reclaim Australia Coliseum, and the Warriors 32 came through tries to Egan, Johnson, Nukore, Kosi, and Curran. 5 conversions to Sean Johnson, a penalty goal to Sean Johnson, and the Sharkies, their 30 came through tries to Tig Wilton, Sione Katoa, William Kennedy, and a double to the Mutt. Nico, 4 conversions from 5 attempts and 1 penalty goal. Draw's not such a bad result sometimes, is it, boys? Up.
I hear the Mutt was a bit flappy this weekend.
Up the draw.
It was a little bit.
Well, I mean, yeah, he scored 2, but yeah, he dropped about 30 bombs.
Yeah. Yeah, he
wasn't happy at times.
I mean, difficult conditions certainly towards the back end of the game, but I thought the Sharks played some great footy.
This was looking like a 50 burger for all
20-0 after 20 minutes.
Yep.
Oof.
Unfortunately, once the momentum started to swing towards the Warriors, the Warriors with their this newfound resilience, and Johnson used that word resilience in his post-game interview, that just kept coming. They just kept coming at them. They, I will say that, missing the kick for not finding touch there with 5 to go. I thought, okay, righto. We've had a Warriors moment, that's going to cost them the game. And they hung in there. And they took their chances and they just fucking whittled away. And, it came all the way down to the wire, and the Sharks, even as the siren went, the Sharks had, just before, I think it was probably 15 seconds or 5 seconds as they caught the ball from the missed penalty kick from Nico from out wide. But, the Warriors had no business coming back, and in years gone by, 20-0 down, they turned their toes up, for the last however many years. That's game over.
That's really, if you look over the history of rugby league, a 20-0 lead must be a 99% fucking
has to be
win rate,
Has to be. But Nickel Klukstar said for the difference that he's made to the side, and then the way that Johnson's playing and essentially turning his career around.
And this was also without Tamari Martin.
Yeah.
You have to remember. And Volkman was knocked out of the game fairly sharpish.
Yeah. Just the forwards just really, really got stuck in.
Yep.
And they were being dominated early, and they looked at each other and they fucking turned it around, which is hard to do against that Cronulla pack.
Yep.
And they just went about their work and eased their way back into the game, and then took advantage of their opportunities. And as good as Cronulla played to start the game, they couldn't stop the fucking wave.
Yep.
So really impressed by the Warriors.
Yeah, agree.
The more I've heard it, because I watched that Sean Johnson interview after the game. You're right. Fuck, just the emotion in him. But it's really easy to forget. Like the further you are removed from any sort of involvement in footy, it's really easy to sit back and we see these amazing stars do amazing shit every week, and you sort of just get to that expectation that the good ones will just do it. But you forget how fucking hard it is when you are absolutely busted, when you can't breathe without your lungs hurting, that sometimes the only way for you to give any more is for everyone around you to be doing it as well. And maybe we've been a bit hard on Johnson in terms of expectations. Maybe he's got all the ability in the world, but he's not that Jonathan Thurston guy of, well, I can do it myself. I'll be them myself so everyone follows me.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, if you can put him around a bunch of cunts that have that in them to all do it together, he's still a fucking weapon.
I think I agree with you totally, and I think the guy that he's getting the most out of is Curran, Josh Curran.
Yeah.
Yep.
He is that guy that thinks he can fucking do it on his own.
Yeah.
Even though he's not blessed with the same God-given skill set of a Sean Johnson or a Jonathan Thurston, his mentality is no different to a JT where he's like, fucking, guys, come with me.
Maybe it's some God-given ignorance. Maybe that's the greatest gift of all.
Mate, you tell me.
It was inside you all along. Oh, fucking hell. Oh, where's the Sharkies ones? There we go. Chris, Sharks giving up a 20-0 lead and Moylan's paper mache shoulders giving up tries. Hook that shit into my veins. Now, I said this after the trials. If you're Fitzgibbon, is Moylan your 6 moving on?
I think there's a strong case to be made for Trindle.
Interesting. I wonder what'll happen. King Levius deserves this one. Suck a massive bag of dicks, you Southern Cross tattoo having fucks. Webby, take a bloody bow. He really has brought composure and grit to the team. I told you fuckers last season, next year is our year.
I don't think it's your year. I mean, it's just a massive improvement.
Look, there's an argument to be made that they could be this year's Cowboys. Not necessarily to go all the way or even.
I'd like to see a bit more evidence, but
yeah, I don't know about that.
I'm on the fucking Dairy Queen train. Troy, to sum it up, we shit the bed. Dom, suck my dick from the back, you Southern Cross tattooed, riding, weak-gutted dogs. Ronaldo running his mouth the whole game. How about you Sharks fans jam your spirit fingers down his throat, tell him to shut the fuck up and catch a high ball. Webby instilling confidence into a team that forgot how to win. I'm loving it. Gus, to lose to a kick from a penalty that seems soft is tough, but you can't argue they didn't deserve it. Don't know how Webster got all them backbones and tickers through customs, but they're on show so far this season. I thought Nickel Cookstar was immense. Oh, and how long before someone loses an eye to a rat's tail turned into a whip by a hard impact? Well, wouldn't that be great? James, fuck the Sharks. The Warriors just showed that Nico is a flashy player who can't step up when the game gets tough. Sean Johnson is the Iceman. There you go. I'm not sure that puts a nail in Nico's career, but no, Johnson did very well.
The Doggies, 15, defeated the North Queensland Cowboys, 14. Scenes at the end of the game, the Doggies scored through tries to a double to Jacob Preston, another try to the Fox, a conversion to Preston, and a field goal to Birdo. The Cowboys 14 tries to Dearden and Chester, Holmes 2 conversions, and a penalty goal. In some of these games, it was well within the Cowboys' keeping. They weren't at their best, but they looked like they had a semblance of control until they didn't.
Yeah, I thought the Cowboys just, as you said, had control of the game and looked like that, that they were just going to stroll to a pretty close victory. But Bulldogs came back at them, and I think young Preston, in the absence of Kickow, who was concussed at training, that's interesting, stepped up on the edge, and he really was one of those players that just wanted to put himself in and around the play and in a position to bring a positive influence on the team, which is impressive for a young player. You've got Burton, then his leadership amongst that Bulldogs team. I think it's probably a little bit. It's got a little bit of development to go. He's come from Penrith, where he wasn't expected to be amongst that top 2 or 3 leaders in a team. Now at the Bulldogs, the expectation is really on him to lead the way. I don't know if he's that guy, but you can see that he's he's trying to get there. Fox, as a winger, does anyone pump their team? Like, is there another winger in the game that pumps their team up to the level that Fox does the Bulldogs? The status that he has amongst that team, as far as a winger goes, is fucking impressive.
Well, are there any other rep players in the team?
Well, Birdo-ish.
Yeah.
Did Berto played for Australia?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
World Cup.
I suppose even in that pantheon, Fox has still got the...
Yeah.
Burton's... We were talking about, best field goals ever. I don't know that it's amongst the best field goals ever, but the position on the field and the quality of the strike required to fucking nail it.
And with
was
also
impressive.
the chaotic breakdown, like lead up, it was very fucking reminiscent of Braith in the 100-minute game.
Yeah.
This position on the field, he was maybe a little bit closer in, but he was right out on that side. The breakdown of the play with and the ball somehow getting to him, and he fucking struck it
Sweet
beautifully, sweet. With time expiring.
Look, we said before that the Cowboys were still finding their way, and I think that's very much still the case. But having said that, despite the win, I'm still not sold on the Bulldogs.
No, neither.
I think they're going to be found wanting against the really good teams as the season progresses, and everyone, starts settling down, and the good teams rise to the top as they do. I just don't know that the Bulldogs are going to be amongst those teams.
Yep, I would agree. But fuck, they love this one.
Yes.
Another great exciting finish in a weekend of exciting finishes in a season of close games too.
There you go.
So,
well, I will say the Tigers have not been involved in a game with an exciting finish or a
close
tight scoreline. So,
well, I mean, the bye's coming up. I mean, the bye, it's tough because the bye have got the best defence in the league, but they also have the worst attack in the league, so you never know what's going to happen.
Fucking hell. Terry. He said, with the loss of forwards in this game, the Dogs had to rely on the most awkward forward ever in Ockenbaugh and the smallest forward ever in Moran playing big minutes. They really stood their ground. Fox was a bargain buy, and Birdo stood up when the Dogs needed something extra special. Joey. Shit game made even worse by the fact that Bulldog supporters think their team is decent. Both teams should lose a point. There you go. Riggs, he said, what the hell going on in a world where a Dogs win is a good news, heartwarming story. Matthew, with so many injuries, the Dogs showing some true grit. Not sure Reynolds can play 80, but he definitely makes the team a better attacking unit and makes Burton a better 5'8". Preston setting himself up as a future blue. Fucking hell. Jason.
When they say blue, I mean, because he looks like fucking Nico's mum's number one customer.
Dubba dee, dubba die. Jason, the Bulldogs showed true grit. Oh, no, there we are. I've already read that one out.
Yeah, that's enough fucking true grit chat
True
about
grit.
the Bulldogs, hey?
Fucking true grit. Fucking hell. Same comment over and over and over. True grit. Motherfuckers. There we go. That's the round.
God. That's it. We're done. That is it for round 5, and that is it for episode 508. As always, go to thisweekinleague.com/links and you'll find links to all the social communities, Patreon, everything. Thank you to people who've been joining up on the various social communities over the last couple of weeks, and welcome. There's been a lot of new faces coming in, which we love. And if you don't have anything else you want to add,
we are done.
Let's go. I'm tired as fuck.
Let's stepdad get back to, it's probably feeding time coming up for little fucking
That's it.
Viliami. Little Viliami Nathan stepdad.
So Em's little girl was like adamant throughout the whole pregnancy. She wanted to name him after her favourite basketball player.
I thought that was a joke.
No, fuck no. No. So her favourite basketball player, he used to play for her team and then got traded to my team. So Montrezl Harrell used to play for Charlotte, which is the team she likes. And then he's been traded to Philly. And it got to the stage where there was a time there where Em was full of pregnant lady hormones, had a legit real life breakdown, Like, I'm not naming the which at that stage I definitely didn't do anything like, say that's because she's racist and then use that against her for the things. But already, his nickname is Trez. So it's fucking stuck.
Which bears no relation to the names you actually went with.
Nothing. So
ultimately, you did keep the sports theme in there by naming him after your favourite former Manly prop, but
yes, and congratulations on baby Ian.
Yeah, Ian Roberts' stepdad. Anyway, that's it, boys.
That's that.
Chat to you on Wednesday.
later.